Good evening, welcome to tonight's Gers TV live show. I'll be joined by Simon in a minute, he's just doing the shares, and we'll be joined by Ryan in a wee few minutes. So, tonight we've got plenty to talk about. We've got the old firm, we've got the tifo, we've got the fans, we've got on the pitch, off the pitch to talk about, and we've to talk about the future of Barry Ferguson, possibly at Rangers as well, whether he's out there running for the manager's job now. So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the game first. We'll get into that. I think it's fair to say that Rangers started on the front foot. We started off well with a good few chances in the first 10 minutes or so. We had Balogun hitting the bar. Then we had a good chance as well, a deflected effort for Cerny that was tipped to the bar. Then a weak header for Raskin. Rangers definitely started the first half strong. The strongest team, definitely, for sure. Definitely dominated the first half, I would say. So we got the goal. Well, what we thought, we got the goal via a Raskin header from a Tavernier free kick, I believe, or corner. I can't remember. Raskin scored, but unfortunately was offside. We all thought that Raskin scored another headed goal against them lot, but unfortunately not. It was offside. His head was offside, but I think we definitely started off strong though. As I said though, we were dominant in the first half, not so much the second half I would say, but first half we definitely dominated and we got the goal as well not long before half time as well via Cyril Dessers. It was a good ball from Diamande. It was actually into Cerny, but Cerny, a lovely wee dummy. Then Dessers uses his magical footwork as we've seen before and slots it past the keeper in his left foot. We've seen Dessers score plenty of goals like that, to be fair. Plenty of goals. I mean, the first one that comes to my head is Betis away as well. Amazing footwork and slotted past the keeper. So, yeah, we're going to the break, 1-0 up. Not too much else to talk about really in the first half. We certainly dominated. You'd be happy going into the break 1-0 up, especially against them. So, yeah, we come out the second half and we concede about 6 or 7 minutes in via an Adamida goal. It was a ball played over the top by Greg Taylor into Maeda, which was actually being checked for offside, I believe it was. I think it was that was checked for offside. We'll have Ryan coming in shortly, sorry. There we go. Sorry.
I'm here.
Worries.
I'm really sorry I'm late, guys. How you doing?
You're alright, Ryan. How are you?
I've just finished work. Listen, my dog might start going mental in the background as well. I'm literally just at the door. He usually goes off his nut when I get in.
Aye. How are you?
Everything's fine, busy day at work. Glad I was off yesterday. I wouldn't have made my work yesterday after Sunday. So,
a busy day at your work and a busy few days in general for all the Rangers support, I think it was. Yeah,
absolutely. Just keeping in touch with the fallout in social medias, I'm sure we're going to discuss.
The meltdown all throughout the country, anyways. Anyways, I know I was just talking about what was happening through the game on the pitch. So, first half, very dominant. Of course, we score offside, and Dessers scores a goal. We're going to half time 1-0 up, especially against them. Like, you'd be happy with the first half, very dominant. Then we go into the second half and we concede 6 or 7 minutes into the half, and it's a poor goal to concede. Ryan, minute.
Well, for me, mate, he's offside. Maeda's offside. Now, it's regardless of that, the rule of this is wrong. That Maeda is not interfering with play. He's considered not active as the ball goes into the back of the net, right? Mm-hmm. See if a shot is hit and there's somebody standing in an offside position in between the goalposts, they're active because the goalie is impeded in some sort of way. There now, you see that Kelly slightly hesitated as the shot was coming in, and as soon as the ball hit the back of the net, Kelly's up pointing towards Maeda to say he's standing offside. So it's the interpretation of whether the goalie is impeded is only done by one man. It's the actual goalkeeper himself. He's the only person that can turn around and say, he was in my way, or no, he wasn't, because he's the guy whose way he's in. But the rule's wrong. The fact that you can stand in an offside position right in front of the goalkeepers, a shot's hitting it and the goal counts. Right. There's stuff that happens before that. Tavernier could do better. John Suter should just put the ball out for a corner. It's as simple 100%. As that. If 100%. He puts the ball out for a corner, we reset. They didn't look a threat at corners at all. He puts the ball out for a corner and does a simple thing rather than try to be fancy and play the ball to Tavernier to try and move. So it could have easily been prevented, but in my opinion, the goal shouldn't have stood.
To be fair, I do agree with you in the fact that Maeda was impacting play, and with John Suter as well, with the clearance as well. We've seen that before as well with John Suter at Parkhead as well. One time when we lost 3-2, I think it was an incident between Davies and Suter, and they got a bit confused and the ball was kept in play, and they ended up scoring from it, so we've seen it before. Anyways, we're joined by Si now. How are you, Si?
Aye, all good. I had to do the shares there. We're a wee bit short of numbers tonight, so I was doing the admin as well as the filming, and looking good.
Aye, as always. Aye, so after the goal, there's not really much going on in the game. There's a few chances here and there. There's a ball into the box to Raskin, who's in a bit of space. Gets a shot off. Goalkeeper comes out, makes himself big, and then Hadji goes in for the rebound, I believe it was. And I think it was just him and about 3 or 4 Celtic players, and he's taken down. And I think it's actually a shout for a penalty, albeit a bit of a soft one, but it's a shout for a penalty nonetheless. The Celtic player goes for the ball and doesn't get it and trips Hadji up. I think it's a penalty. I think he should have been at least checked.
I was surprised it didn't get. I've not seen the replay of that one. I was the same as Ryan, a wee bit worse for wear. After the match, I was on a few beers. I haven't watched that incident back again, but at the time, I was surprised it wasn't on the VAR, to be honest. But I didn't think it was a penalty, but I wasn't sure, to be fair. But an incident like that again should be like, that's why VAR's there. It should be reviewed.
Of course.
It was lightning quick, very, very quickly. It was decided it wasn't a penalty. We've seen circumstances before where everything has been scrutinised, in depth. But it just looked as if it was just taken off the table as quickly as it was put onto it. And we've seen situations before where they look to find reasons to give and they look to find reasons not to give. And I think, unfortunately, we're in the situation where they're looking for reasons not to give.
Right. That all comes back to what we spoke about for absolutely years on this channel. And see when you've got we don't have a reactive PR department. We don't have an aggressive PR department, so it's quite easy to stick your boot in the Rangers. And like the League Cup final or the Scottish Cup final for last year, it's easy for VAR to make an honest mistake and carry on, and that's it. If it's other way about, they're terrified, so they would have probably, if it was other end of the park, like Celtic's goal that was cancelled and then put back on, they would have spent more time with the VAR with fear of the repercussions. But if you don't have a reactive and aggressive PR department, then you can do what you want.
Yeah, it's happening time and time again. I think if you want to talk about the PR department and what they had to say after the game as well.
I think it's really important because the channel's been. We put an article out today from Davy Heard, and the page has been electric with people. I've only seen one person disagreeing with the statement, to be fair.
I know we've seen before as well. Patrick Stewart coming out and attacking the fans as well, saying that they're not welcome back at Ibrox and that they shouldn't support Rangers, etc., etc. So then we've seen a similar situation after the tifo at the weekend. So,
well, the things that, first of all, again, what I was saying about being reactive for the PR department, when the 49er franchise comes in, it's very important that we change this. You can't have the brand constantly being targeted by people in the media, and then when it's somebody like Patrick Stewart, your own guy can't wait to jump in quickly and stick the boot in. I think what's happened with it, now, I'm a bit guilty of this myself. I didn't get the Star Wars connection, to be honest. But when I look back at it, it's May the 4th and I get the joke. It's actually a clip from Family Guy as well, where they've made the joke about it, the comment. It's a well-known saying from the Star Wars film, is it? Star Trek, Star Wars. It was a fantastic tifo. Now, if you're going to go down this road of being offended, as the article stated that we put out today, Rangers should have been offended by the tifo and the sectarian nature that the Celtic ones that are put out for the years. Personally speaking, I don't really get offended by anything at the football. But for Rangers to come out and condemn the fans for that, I think he's misunderstood the connection with the Star Wars and the bit of humour in it. To attack the fans for that so quickly, it shows you naivety, and it also shows you that Patrick Stewart isn't a Rangers man. He's basically done that as quickly as possible, thinking he's going to eradicate the issue. And then you've got guys like Bill Leckie coming out and questioning why the 49ers would want to buy into Rangers after it. When you allow these people that are enemies of Rangers a free run at you, they're going to take a run and kick you right in the nuts.
Yeah. For me, side the board, there's two different mistakes with the board. They either need to police it better, and they need to actually say, right, okay, obviously they're in the stadium the day before, setting the tifo up, so they need to police it better. If they've got concerns and they want to have an element of control, they need to police it better themselves. The boys are getting in there and they've done a great job year after year, time after time again with these tifos. They're unbelievable. They're shown all over the world. They're first class in what they're doing. Their efforts are are well noted for the likes of myself and the people around me that enjoy them
Yeah.
every time they go up. So if the board have got a problem with it, the board need to do something themselves to stop it. They need to basically say this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. But also as well, the board have come out, like you said, too quickly. The board should be reacting if the Police Scotland come out and say criminality, whatever you want to call it, is taking place here. If a crime is being committed, the board need to say something about it. But the police have come out and said no crime is being committed. The board shouldn't have anything to say about it.
It makes us look foolish.
Yep, amateurs. Not the first
I've never seen so many Rangers fans, and I mean so many, as in different types of Rangers fans, all saying there was nothing wrong with the banner. It was actually really good tifo when you look at it. Great artwork in it, and media channels are now blurring it out. Now remember, some of these old firm games in the last 5 years, when we've seen on National Suicide Day, we saw effigies been hanging with orange collarettes on them and Ranger strips and things like that, and attacks on our community. They're not blurred out, but that's what happens when you don't have a PR department. Patrick Stewart's made a major boo-boo in this, and again, I say this because it's quite regularly that he's came out and attacked his support. He should have waited at least a day for it, I think.
Yeah. Lewis?
Yeah. No, I agree, and I'm going to go back to what you were saying as well. Like, I'm not usually offended if Celtic are putting up a tifo referring to us as scum, as a lot of posts have came out and saying before. I'm not offended by it, but it's a two-way street, it's a two-way road. So, I mean, if they're going to be offended at one, why not be offended at the other? And the First Minister actually came out as well and branded it as unacceptable and out of order as well, which I find a bit laughable as well, considering
the silence in the past.
Yes, the silence in the past.
But this is back to what I'm saying. He knows if he comes out and criticises Celtic's connection with the Irish Republican Army, the sectarian agenda, the Palestine stuff, if he comes out and attacks that, they'll hammer him. Rangers won't hammer him. Rangers will sit back and allow it. That's the difference.
Exactly. You're right.
So that's the problem. So a couple of things. I think we would all agree, guys, that in terms of somebody throwing an object like a bottle on the park, nobody's going to say that's acceptable, right? You can't be throwing bottles or weapons on the park or hurting players. We don't condone that. But the banner and the tifo, there was nothing wrong with it. Rangers should have been coming out and criticising the behaviour of the Celtic supporters, mocking tragedy, singing tragedy songs, mocking the Ibrox disaster, and not a word was said about that. An actual supporter had to film it and get that highlighted. So if you're going to come out and criticise, then you need to go for everybody, not just basically the Union Bears were the target, a quick, easy target, and I think even Patrick Stewart probably thinks back now he shouldn't have put that statement out.
Yeah, definitely for me. The projectile, the bottle getting flung into the park, we spoke about it at length last week about drink getting brought into the stadium, and not within 7 days of us actually, waxing lyrical about it. Another example is there. Something that was quite funny that I saw, if you can draw any sort of humour from it at all, somebody suggested we should be writing down to Buckfast and telling Buckfast they should be putting it into plastic bottles so that nobody gets hurt when it's getting flung. Which that's going to solve that. That is the root of all problems. The fact that it's a glass bottle. Let's get Bucky into plastic and then that's going to solve everything. Nothing to do with sneaking drink into the ground and throwing the bottle at somebody. Put it in plastic and everything's going to be all right.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, Ryan, right? The season's ended prematurely. Celtic's won the league. There's nothing to talk about, so they find something to talk about.
Yeah. The thing about it is, at some point, our luck is going to run out with this. We've seen a bottle being thrown at O'Reilly a couple of years ago that it narrowly missed him. It came out the enclosure. We're now seeing it coming out the front of the Copeland Road as well. At some point, somebody is going to get hit by this, and they're either going to be seriously hurt or, God forbid, they're going to be killed. But what's going to happen here? And the stand's going to be closed. And that's when the proverbial will really hit the fan. And is it going to have to take something as serious as that before this lesson is learned? You cannot throw stuff onto the park because you will endanger somebody's life.
Yeah, we see it for both sets of supporters as well.
We'll have the Celtic Park a couple of months ago.
They were throwing stuff at us in Celtic Park, which is why the nets had to get put up.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll carry on the conversation with back to the rest of the incidents that were taking place. Something I was talking about to Lewis just before we started here, Ryan. There's been a big clamour to get the Celtic fans back at Ibrox. We saw the behaviour of them at the weekend. But I want to throw something out there. I didn't actually think they made any noise until they got an equaliser. And of all the supports that have been here this season, they didn't add anything to the atmosphere whatsoever. All these people that tell me Old Firm's nothing with Celtic fans at Ibrox, they never made a squeal. I never heard a thing from them till they equalised and then they sang a few songs. It didn't make me feel as if it was any better atmosphere having them in or out.
No. Lewis, you want to go on that, mate?
Well, I can't really say much about it. I wasn't at the game, I was working. But yeah, well, I mean, I've only really seen clips of them singing either before or after the game, and then, of course, as you were saying, when they scored as well. So I've got
it was poor. I mean, I've seen European teams come and create better atmospheres than that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Even Fenerbahce, Dortmund in the years gone by. I've seen other teams from opposition in Scotland actually come and create a better atmosphere than that with a smaller section of support.
That's the point I'm making. The other teams have came to Ibrox and made a noise, and it created an atmosphere. There was nothing. It was a pathetic support. I don't know if some of their fans got tickets that don't regularly go to away games. I don't know anything about them, but we're forever hearing about how great a support they were. I thought it was laughable, to be honest.
It must just the nature of the competition, because call it a dead rubber if you want. At the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything as far as the competition. We could have beat them 10-0 at the weekend, and it wouldn't have made not a drop come the end of May.
But anyway, we can get the comments in as well, guys, if he's agree with us or disagree. But everybody's seen me. I'm not saying everybody because I haven't read every comment. But when we put the kind of statement, the article out today, 99% of the Rangers support were disappointed in Patrick Stewart's address to the Rangers support. But also, I believe they're having a question and answer with the support. But again, it's only selected fans. Gers TV won't get an invite to that because we've got too much to say. But everybody was saying the same stuff when we read it. We need people to start backing the club. We need Rangers men at the club, and we need proper PR. Because if you don't have proper PR, the brand just constantly gets targeted.
Yeah. Well, come on to a comment here, just that you brought me nicely onto that. So that's a comment for Alex Kelly here. Alex has made a couple of comments, which I'm sure we'll come to. Yeah. For Rangers, for everyone's given our haters a free licence to slaughter us whenever they like. The woke brigade within our club create more issues for our club than solve.
Aye. Well, I've been totally against the everyone, anyone or anyone, everyone campaign since it was started. And I'll give you a quick example why. I don't want anyone and everyone to support Rangers. I want good people to support the club. And I want a kind of, I don't want, for an example, somebody was to commit a serious crime and is in prison, they come out of prison and they're welcome at Ibrox because it's everyone and anyone. I don't believe that. I believe that we should be looking for a support that we can be proud of, and the way that the club manifests this is everyone, anyone. It's woke ideology. It's got no place at Ibrox. It's box ticking, and it's pathetic, to be honest with you. There's people that we've invited to Ibrox in the past from the SNP who despise our club. We saw the guy for the Sinn Féin a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who shouldn't be allowed in Ibrox. That guy with the 66, I won't name him, he should, to be able to say everyone and anyone at the stadium and stuff like that, I just don't believe it. I think you should be eradicating that kind of stuff. I agree with Alex 100% on that.
100%, I agree with him as well. And the whole everyone anyone thing as well. And we had obviously a few banners for the Union Bears, and then if we have Patrick Stewart or any other board members coming out and making a statement, it seems like it's everyone anyone except their own.
Aye, well, that's exactly what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's box ticking garbage, to be honest. But these things need to change, and I don't see them changing. I can only see them getting worse. If you remember about 6 months ago, I did state that I think that the 49ers had brought Patrick Stewart in and no Rangers. I didn't really, when I was saying that, I was mere meaning about the due diligence of the club. I'm starting to hope I'm wrong with that, but a lot of people commented in the page today saying they kind of agree with that, and he's no helping things the way he's conducted his business, having private meetings with rich Rangers fans, completely ignoring the core Rangers support, no defending our values, no defending the brand. I think his first 6 months have been an absolute car crash.
Also as well, recently I think the club didn't, correct me if I'm wrong here please, but I don't think the club acknowledged VE Day, the big anniversary of VE Day, did they?
No. This is just in case we get this right, because I think you're right, Ryan, but I don't know. I've been busy today, but it lasts for 4 days. So what I would say is, if they haven't done that, this isn't even about who's right or wrong. If you haven't done that, Rangers Football Club, get that sorted, because that's something that our support cherish.
Yep. And there's many of our players and board members that over the years have made great sacrifices in the war and, keeping our country the way we want our country to be. So it's not just acknowledging the fact that winning a war, it's acknowledging the sacrifices that members of our club have paid.
And the freedom. Yeah.
Aye. VE Day, as much as any other day that honours those who fought for our country, it means a lot to our support. It means a lot to the fans, and if it's not been honoured, then it's shameful. That is shameful.
I fear what the current people running the club are terrified that they're going to offend people by doing anything. And by that, I mean, you just look at the woke agenda they've had recently. See, the majority of people, and I'm including people for different kinds of communities and backgrounds, most people just want to go to the football and enjoy it. But everybody, and I mean everybody that knows who Rangers Football Club are, know that Rangers are associated with the armed forces, they're pro-Scottish, pro-British. Mm-hmm. These things, to try and hide from them, just makes you look foolish.
And I think, ever since the 5 stars got taken off our jersey, I think the identity has been stripped away for Rangers and the Rangers fans as well.
We can no longer call ourselves the world's most successful football club, can we?
No.
For a start.
So these standards need to get back again, to be fair.
It's there. Need to go back to basics.
I think reading the page today, the Gers TV page and the website and things like that, the fans seem to be united in one thing. They're really angry at the way the Rangers staff and Patrick Stewart, the main guy, are acting towards the support. That's something that the support are they're united in this. They're quite quick to ask for season ticket money now, and then they're putting a statement out, by the way, if you don't agree with us, don't come back. I kind of live in the way I live is sometimes people say things that I don't agree with, but just because I don't agree with something doesn't mean you don't come back. It means you have a debate or a difference of opinion.
Yeah, healthy debates. What's the democracy that's got us to where we are in this world and time. It's taken us for different situations throughout the test of time is healthy debate and and democratic decisions that have but it's just that some of it's daft. But we need this takeover and we need it rapid. Like, cause at this moment in time, we're just sitting guddling about and bickering with each other and the next thing. We need the board, we need an announcement on this to say this is happening. Led to believe it's imminent. Let's get it over the line. Let's get a new manager in the door and let's find out about, XYZ player that are meant to be coming back. Where are they going? Let's actually park this, get this crappy season gone and finished, and let's
give us something in the summer to look forward to.
Aye, let's stop us looking at the negatives. We're sitting here and all we can think about is negatives. There's a dinner on Friday night for the anniversary, Helicopter Sunday. I've got an offer of a ticket, VIP, the lot. My mate's giving me it for nothing. I don't even want to go because I'm that scunnered with everything that's going on just now. So they need to get things moving forward and positivity and excitement.
They've got a great opportunity because obviously the American brand and the whole showbiz side of it, they've got a great opportunity here. They know the supporters will buy tickets, right? But they've got a great opportunity to bring a feel-good factor to a season that's been effectively a pile of shite. They have got the opportunity to do that, but they need to get it right. Again, what you're saying is right, but get this announcement done as quickly as possible. But they can't obviously announce it officially until it's over the line. Yeah. The management situation as well, I feel as if it's dragging on a wee bit too long, and I feel I'm no pushing Barry for the job, but I feel a bit sorry for Barry Ferguson away, to be honest. But at the same time, 8 games at Ibrox, and Barry wasn't the manager of them all, but 8 games at Ibrox in a row with no win isn't anywhere near the standards at Rangers Football Club.
Yeah, you've taken us nice on days. There's quite a few people now starting to ask about it in the comments, just asking if there's any kind of movement on the manager side of things. I think the only news that came out in that today is Chris Jack from Rangers Review.
Yeah, that's right.
I've seen that.
He'd done an article. His information tells him that the new manager will have no previous connection to Rangers. So
that was very interesting.
Well, that'll take out Ferguson for a start, who you just mentioned, because he's currently in situ at the moment. It's going to take out Gerrard, who's still massively the Bookies' favourite, and it's probably going to take out Muscat as well, who's the name on some people's lips at the moment.
True. And it would also indicate to me the boy Rose would then be the favourite. What I found a bit strange with this, right? So Chris Jack's got a lot of connections with Rangers, and I knew Chris Jack in the old days when he was in the Blue Order and went to the games years ago. Credited journalist, so I'm taking that as he's probably more up to date than anybody else I know. But I found it a bit strange last week when I seen Steven Gerrard. I've never really seen him drunk on social media. And he does a video praising Rangers Football Club. And then an hour later he does another video with somebody else praising Rangers. Alright, he said a wee drink, but I just found the timing was a bit weird when we're about to announce a manager. But then when I'm reading that it's going to be somebody with the Rangers connection, I really don't know. If it's, I'm convinced it'll be Gerrard still, but if it's no Gerrard, it's somebody with the Rangers connection, then I think the guy, Marco Rose, would have to be the one I would think.
It only must be because it's been Gerrard and Marco Rose that's been getting talked about over the last month or so. So if you're taking out obviously Ferguson, Gerrard, and as you said Muscat, Ryan, so they're probably only the one man in for the shout now.
No, sorry, I would also put in there because Alec Kelly has been pushing for Lampard for a few weeks.
Yep, I've seen that as well.
And he's not got although his dad, Frank Lampard Senior, is a Rangers supporter, he's not got an official connection with Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Alex actually just made a wee comment there just before you mentioned his name. Sees days in 2 weeks, our Champions League qualifiers, the third week in July. We need a new manager, new captain, players, and quite a few high earners off to be offloaded. It doesn't give us a lot of time to do our business. And be ready to go for early pre-season games. I think there was something on the radio yesterday, less than 80 days, to go until we're in. And
some of these players are going to get a wee holiday after the end of the season, so aye. It's a couple of things on that.
We need to be ready for this. We can't afford to lose out in that dosh again.
Can't afford to lose it. We have to be competing for the Champions League. We have to be ready at the start of the season. We can't begin at the Old Firm games and games at Ibrox where we're not ready, and the manager tells us that transitional period and it's a new project and all that stuff. That garbage needs to be away. We need to be ready, as the saying goes. We need to be prepared. The only thing I would answer with Alex here is, I know he said that we need to have a captain in place. To me, the captain's already in place, and that is Nico Raskin.
Yeah. Well, you seen his display as captain when we played Celtic in the 2nd of January, and we beat them 3-0 as well. Excellent as captain as well. Probably man of the match, you could say. So
the biggest concern I've got in terms of bringing players in, I think the two goalkeepers are nowhere near good enough to be goalkeepers at Rangers.
Yeah. I think we established that a couple of weeks ago. I've got intel that Raskin's going to Leeds, £20 million.
Aye. When did you hear that?
During the week there. Just over the weekend. Pretty close, 99% done. The Raskin's going to Leeds.
Oh, well, put us in an even bigger mood.
Probably not going to get Raskin captain.
Yeah,
but listen, but see if you look at Raskin's now. Nico Raskin has emerged in the last few months as a fantastic player for us, and he's everybody's new captain there. But we are so guilty of not selling players on when we need to. He's been waived for
profit.
Well, he's been waived for what now, 2.5 years, and he's still got 2 years left to go in his deal. He's only had 6 decent months off us, for us, sorry, and it's moving on there now. Last season, if I'd said to you last summer we're going to move Jack Butland on, but Jack Butland, in Phil Clement's own words, was the only player that wasn't for sale. He said that anyone else could go. And you now look at Jack Butland, you probably get 25% of what you would have got from last summer.
That's how quick it could devalue, but that happened with Morelos as well, remember?
You need to move guys on at the right time. And if the summer comes and somebody comes with the offer, with Raskin, he's got to go. It's as simple as that. We can't afford to take chances holding on to guys.
So the big thing is, for me, with all this, what you're saying, Ryan, and what the viewers are saying, they must have somebody lined up for the manager's job, right? They must be more further on than we think. The longer this takes, the more damage it does to the pre-season build-up. We need to get somebody in place. And I said it last week, by the end of this week, we should have a manager in place.
Yeah, I agree. I think the stock market, the takeover announcement will go to the stock market, obviously to ourselves before that. I think it might even all happen the same day.
Aye, so I don't know, I know you know a wee bit about that kind of stuff, I don't know enough about it. What kind of timeline do you think? Because I've heard the Rangers reviews keep saying it's going to be another 3 or 4 weeks.
No, mate, honestly, no idea.
I can't see it being that long.
I think, no, sorry, I did get told something. This is flashbacks to the weekend, I'm really sorry.
One can down.
I know, I get told by somebody there's something happening over in America. They've got to sort something out in the American side of things. To do it.
Would you agree that they'll have a manager? They'll have a manager, maybe no place, but they'll have a manager.
Aye, it'll be ready to go.
Or let me put it a different way. If they haven't got somebody identified and ready to go, then we're in big trouble.
Aye, yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. Until it's actually signed and delivered, you just don't know. We've seen it in times gone by where things have changed at the last minute. There was situations earlier on during the summer that shirts were actually made up for guys signing. You know, they're actually sitting in the dressing room with names and numbers on them, and a phone call comes, no, he's not coming. And that's how fine the lines can be when it comes to football.
Because a senior man for Dunoon was in the director's box at the weekend.
Yeah, he was there. Yep. So he says, like, so he comes out. So we talked about Neil Warnock, right? So he comes out and says,
he was there. He was just in front of us.
He was at the game, right? So Neil's pals with the guy that owns the builders merchants here. They've got, I think, four seats in the members lounge. So they
regular.
So they basically supplied the materials that built Neil Warnock's holiday home in Dunoon. And they've got Pally and he goes to the games and stuff now. But he said in an interview when he was announced as Albert, I've been down to Dunoon Rangers supporters coming hanging about the guys. Has he? Fuck. No, he's no. He doesn't even know which pub we're drinking. He's not been anywhere near us. So he's all talk in that respect. But
that's because you're a bad influence.
No, well, but he's a nice enough guy. He spoke to him a couple of times in the street. How you doing, Mr. Warnock? Keeping well, nice weather today. And he stops and says hello every single time. He's a nice guy.
He wouldn't be a bad guy. I know he's retired. He wouldn't be a bad guy to have with the kind of backroom staff, like that, looking after the kind of younger players. And I think his experience.
See somebody like a loans manager. Remember the loans managers? And you think Billy Kirkwood did it was a loans manager. Would that suit somebody like Warnock? Who's just going about looking after young guys and making sure they're getting treated properly at other clubs, maintaining standards?
Aye, maybe. I definitely like me to keep an element of the Rangers ex-players at the club. Again, I know what I keep repeating myself. I do feel a bit bad for Barry Ferguson. He's came in at a really bad time, and his cannon fodder taking the job, but the performances haven't been good enough, to be fair. I know he's saying that he's doing what I would do, or any of us would do. He's been asked in interviews, do you want the job? Of course he's going to say he's the best man for the job. But it'll be interesting, it will be interesting to see if it is a non-Rangers connected manager.
Well, I've seen a few people as well shouting for Daniel Farke, and of course there was rumours of him getting the punt at Leeds after getting promoted, but I think one of the men who's leading our takeover, Parag Marath, has came out and said that Daniel Farke's staying at Leeds, so I think we can rule that out as well, going on a previous subject, but I'm the same as you, Si. I do feel sorry for Barry Ferguson. He's sort of, I wouldn't say he's been thrown under the bus, he's thrown himself under the bus, but he's doing, as you said, what any other Rangers, is same as what any other Rangers fan would do. I mean, it's a job he's dreamed of, albeit not at a very good time for the club as well, being I don't know, I was about 15 points behind Celtic at that point as well. You're playing for nothing really except Europe, and we're playing against two tough teams, Bilbao and Fenerbahce. So, yeah, he's came in. I do feel sorry. I wouldn't necessarily say he's made us any better, but he's not really made us any worse as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's a short-term gap, but in terms of the future of Rangers, I wouldn't want to see him as a manager, and I feel bad saying that because I do like the guy.
I think the weekend's result there definitely sort of took his name out the running for the job. I think because that's 8 home games. As much as you said, look, he's not been in charge for most of them. I think for 2 of them he wasn't in charge. The Queen's Park.
He wasn't in Queen's Park.
He's on a hiding. As soon as he took the job, he was in a hiding to nothing.
Basically, unless he won the Europa Cup, he was on hiding to nothing. And he wasn't. I don't think we were strong enough for the Europa, to be fair. Just a quick one, guys. I can't see this. They might be doing it, but I don't know because I can't. I've not got my specs on. Everybody that's watching, just let us know. Just post the name of the man you would like to be the manager.
Yeah. So coming on to that, led me nicely. Alex is he's Frank Lampard daft. I think he's Frank Lampard's agent.
I had his. I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to shout out quickly before you read it. Big Rab Pickens that watches the channel, the Woodford Chicken Supper loyal. He'd arranged it the last time Chelsea played Rangers, and Lampard left his jersey for us, and I auctioned it for Erskine, and I got it right after the game, and he was a man of his word. I'll give him his due for that.
Yep. Andrew McInnes is in the Stevie G camp as well.
What was Alex saying there? Sorry, you didn't read it. You were going.
Alex was basically going in for Lampard. Sorry. Wait to see how Lampard does in the playoffs. So even if I think even if he don't get promoted, I think he'll feel as if he's got enough to go and do it again. More shouts here for Gerrard again. Andrew McInnes, Karen Smith, Mark Aiken all wanting Gerrard to, I think there's still a lot of love for him. Somebody was calling Marco Rose a rat earlier on as well, which I tend not to
I think that's a
disagree
bit
with.
too far. I think
Well,
that's a bit far.
When he's parading himself at Parkhead Green and White, and he's the manager of Leipzig at the time, I think, or Salzburg. So I think,
Stupidity, because it's came back to bite him in the arse.
That's a bit daft, aye.
so that's something that's going to constantly. You know for a fact, if he's our manager going to Parkhead, what their tifo's going to look like, 100%.
Aye. Plus the fact that any time a result goes against him, that's going to be thrown back in the media. It would be cannon fodder for us to give him the manager's job with that alone. But there's no many people I can think of that hasn't got a Rangers connection that's names in the ring. So either that or somebody's going to get the job that nobody's expecting.
Yep. 2 wee seconds here. Let me just quickly find.
That takes Derek McInnes out it as well. Then
I'm just going to find the bookies odds. Please gamble responsibly, obviously.
You've went on dark here. I don't know if it's because I can't see right in the screen.
Sorry, it's my cat there. That's it.
Aye,
there.
Good. Aye, you're better now.
Right, so these, have you got the odds? Aye.
Got the odds here. Next manager, the Teddy Bears.
I think Marco
Oh,
Rose
but-
are still leavings. Oh.
No, by the way, see, I looked at this earlier on. Gerrard was 47, and Rose came down from. Rose was 12-1 this morning, I think. Rose is now 2-1, and Gerrard's 2-1.
That's because of that information about that.
That's statement for Chris. You reckon Chris knows it's Stevie Gerrard and he's just manipulating the bookies market?
Aye, he's sticking his money on it.
Of course, we're joking when we say stuff like that.
Hope so.
Dice has come down to 61, which I think would be a shocker. Mourinho
I
8
wouldn't
to
touch him with a 10 feet barge pole.
Mourinho
Wouldn't
8 to
surprise
1.
me that one. Aye, Mourinho is Mourinho not took the Portugal job? Was that a rumour?
I think that was a
There's
rumour.
few
Yep.
rumours going about them, aye.
Danny Roll was a name that I'd heard. Ex Sheffield Wednesday, 12-1. Knutson 16-1. He's obviously got a big game coming up this week. Benitez still floating about. Barry's still sitting at 20-1. And you start getting a couple of silly ones. McInnes 50-1. Van Bronckhorst is still linked in there as well.
Do
Stuart
you reckon Klopp's still 100-1?
No, I'm not actually seeing Klopp on it at all.
I've heard, I think it was Talk Sport. I did hear somebody making a comment
Aye,
on the club.
there's a guy-
No chance.
There's a guy here, Marek Papson, at 66-1. Look
Who's
him
that?
up. Marek Papson. He's the guy he's the manager of Rako out in the Polish league.
Cheshire
Look this
Stober,
guy
the
up.
Polish team, Cheshire Stober, aye.
Look this guy up. He's the real deal as a manager. He'd be one really left field, but he'd be a good option. No professional football background, school teacher, learned his rules with an iron fist. He'd be interesting.
That would be a strange one, aye.
You really don't know, but I just hope it gets moved on quickly. Honestly, I just for next week. The longer this is going on, how many games left in season 3? Three.
Aye.
It's time to get to
I
make the
think
decision.
we're all getting impatient now waiting for the manager because there's been so much talk. Ever since Barry Ferguson came in, there's still been talk.
Well, I don't
Who's
think
gonna
it would have
be
been
the
fair.
manager?
To be honest, I don't think it would have been fair to parade a manager with an Old Firm game
No, of
at the
course.
weekend. So they probably done the right thing waiting.
Aye.
And I think Barry Ferguson, the status he's got with Rangers, he at least
Yeah.
deserved the Old Firm games to play in. I think sometimes you have to give respect, but right now we just want positivity and we want a big name. That's a big thing.
Aye.
Well, here's one for Betty McKenzie. Put it in the mix soonest with Barry Ferguson.
Aye, as soon as he's too old and no fit.
I was 72 the day.
Aye, happy birthday, Graham.
Happy birthday, Graham Souness, aye.
He's no fit. He said I think it was triple or maybe quadruple. I think I'll go triple heart surgery. And I was a young boy when Souness was the manager of Rangers. Let me just say, he was an absolute maniac, and it would kill him. And he knows it would kill him being the manager again. There is no chance of Souness being the manager. Maybe a director a director at the club on the football board, but I don't think for a minute.
Well, I think Alex will say the last time he was involved in anything to do with the club, they can just completely ignored it. And
That's
did I
right,
say
Lampard.
Alex, they never took his advice, and look how that's gone.
It's true. It's a good point.
So, do you think it'd be interesting in coming up here and having something to say and nobody's listening to him?
He doesn't need the money. Does he want the heart? Does he want the hassle? I really don't. I don't know enough about what he does now, but I know he does his media stuff. It's quite an easy life for him.
It's heavy in the
he's
charity
still
side, charity
popular.
work as well. I think did
Yep.
they not swim the channel recently?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, did.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's got the time for it. Again, he's the kind of guy that you could get involved with like an ambassador's role for the club.
Aye.
See, I'm a big believer when players sign for the club. Wee things, right, they might sound wee, but to me they're no small. I think every player that signs for the club should be put on the founders trail
Yes.
and took round the trophy room and the stadium, and they should be educated on the history of the unique football club that Rangers are and drilled into them. That's a big thing for me. I know the story from George Graham years ago now when he was talking about he had the chance of signing for Rangers, and I think it was Scott Simon brought him onto the middle of the park for an interview and started telling him about how this is the greatest football club in the world and signing will change your life forever. And he does an article about that in his book. That's the kind of things that I want to be drilling back into these players. You're not just signing for a football club, you're signing for a way of life. But then again, maybe I'm just an old romantic.
Aye. I think like, see somebody like if you're trying to snaffle young talent up from south of the border,
Yeah.
and Jermaine Defoe's on the phone to you and telling you how great a club it was, you know, when he played for us and he wished he'd signed for the sooner. Do you know there's guys like that and there's guys
He's another great shout. I don't know why. I think there was maybe more to that because it was a bit strange the way he left. But I agree with you with that. He's a massive name in English football.
I think he gets slightly involved in the punditry with ITV as well. I've seen him during the Euros as well, as much as they got quite a few people on during the Euros, but with ITV he was involved with punditry, and I think he's been involved in and out with that as well, so I don't know if he's just pursuing that or whatever, but...
Possibly, but that's the kind of... I just think you have to have a strong background team.
Right.
just need to get a bit smarter. Billy's got one here. Billy's saying about Sean Dice. They try to reference the connection with Kevin Thelwell, who's come in as a sporting director. No compensation for it. I don't fancy Sean Dice. For me,
The only thing I'll say about that is his name doesn't seem to be disappearing from it.
There's better options out there.
He's been linked for a while.
He's got no European experience.
No. Yep, I agree with that. Aye.
Very, very short European experience. He had a wee bit of brief European experience with Burnley for a season, but that's about it.
Christ, so he did
Pittodrie.
Yep.
So that was what 2 games or something? 4 games?
Aye, something like that. I don't know. I think he got into the group stages and got put out in the group stages. But well, as you said there, with the Everton connection, possibly, and as you said, his name's not disappearing out of the mix. So, but nah, I don't fancy it. I don't fancy the style of football. It's just way, way too defensive.
I think we're all agreeing that we're just the support deserve. If you look at it as we've been doing all the divisions, there's no other support in the whole world, and I mean this. There's no other support in the whole world that would fill their stadium, and not just our stadium, but every stadium on the way up. And all these wee villages and towns all made a fortune. We know all the stories about it, but there's no support like Rangers anywhere in the world, and the support, not just myself, just in general. I was talking to a young boy at the weekend, John. I meant to give him a shout out. 23-year-old, I remember him telling me that. I was still half sober, and he was telling us how much he loved the club and the passion for Rangers. He watches Gers TV. He just wants to see a successful team, and so many young lads feel that way. We need a big announcement. It's got to be a name that makes us all excited again. As the hat says, make Rangers great again.
Excitement around the support, because it has been it's been too much doom and gloom ever since we got knocked out of Europe. It's been absolute doom and gloom. We can't win at home. We struggled to beat. Well, we didn't beat them at the weekend. We barely beat them at Parkgate. I mean, it's been doom and gloom, and we're going into the rest of the season. You're going to struggle to get 40,000 a game now, because it was briefly mentioned earlier on. It doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Any
more comments?
I put my ticket in the seats up for the next 2 games. I can't be bored. I'll be perfectly honest with that, and it's there. It's just I've just can't. I've had enough. Basically,
I'm going Sunday, but I'm not going to midweek game.
It's going to midweek games for me is a nightmare. At the best of times, never mind. There's nothing to play for.
Especially for me.
Another big thing for me, I know it's maybe small, but they're still doing these lap of honours, right? A game at the weekend, lap of honour. I'm not what to swear, family show, right? But see when Rangers play in Europe and the supporters have came from or the corners of the world, they are lap of honour. See when you win trophies, they are lap of honour. Don't do a lap of honour when you draw.
Done a lap of honour when they drew. They could be half Queen's Park, so.
That's what I'm saying. That mentality needs to go.
And they went airs jumping about and singing about with the fans when they narrowly beat St Johnstone.
I remember there was one last season And we lost to Kelly in the first game of the season down at Rugby Park. Lost 1-0.
1-0.
Aye.
Brad Lerner, I remember
And
that.
they all come out and they were poor. I mean, poor for that day. And they came across to clap the fans after it, and we all just obviously did our usual and just went for them, like, get back to the dressing room, go out of sight.
The Rangers support aren't expecting to be clapped. They know what they are. They're proud.
Aye.
They're a proud support, but they don't need the players coming there patronising them.
See some of
especially
the
when
players,
they're
though.
garbage we've had.
I remember particularly the look in Danilo's face as we were all just told, basically get back in the dressing room, get off the park, like, we're sick of looking at you.
The problem with it is we've signed too many players in the last 10 years that don't understand the expectations of the club. That's what I was saying about the founders chair and stuff like that. They need to realise when they come to Rangers that there's no many clubs in the world where you're expected every game you play, no matter who the opposition is, even if it's Champions League and it's a stronger team, we still expect them at Ibrox to win the game. And that's a hard burden for these players.
Aye, and you know, Barry Ferguson came out a week or two ago, and the fear factor of playing Rangers is completely gone now.
That needs to come back. It's all these wee things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Comments wise, let's have a wee quick look and see how we go. Wee bit of confidence for John Stewart here. Win the league next season because of the 49ers, and we'll have more money than Celtic. Hope you're right, my friend.
I think we need a wee bit more than
I
that.
hope you're right. I don't think money necessarily means success. You've got, of course, I think every Rangers fan with this takeover, I think everyone's excited and looking forward to it because, I mean, the only way's up. Now, with how things are going at the club, the only way's up. So,
We need to have a far better policy in terms of buying players and getting rid of players. Ryan's right about selling players at the right time. And we also, a big thing, I've spoken about it for absolutely months, and I know I'm going to bore you when I say it, the medical and the fitness side of the club. When we won the 55, Gerard's team with his fit, reminds me of the Graham Souness days and the Jock Wallace days of the trebles. The players were really, really fit, and we weren't buying these players that were constantly injured, and that needs to be... whatever the problem is, I don't know what the problem is, but that needs to be looked at and stopped. And we need to start buying players who can adapt to Rangers. For an example, Jeffy, there was a quote today that Jeffy could be worth 10 to 15 million pound by the Rangers Review today. That's ridiculous.
pay 10 to 15 pound, never mind million pound.
Aye,
for him.
that's ridiculous.
Who said that?
It was on the Rangers Review today.
Mate, if he's worth 10 million quid, I'm
No,
not
it
joking.
could be. It could be. The quote was he could be worth that in the future.
I could be 13 stone in 6 months' time, but I'm a bugger going to the gym.
This kind of thing is for signing players like that and saying they could be this. Well, if your granny had balls, she would be your granda.
Mate, he is. I thought I used to give Borna Barisic a hard time. I used to call him a shite bag, always wanting to go off injured and subbed in the big moments. He's never there for you. I'd take Borna Barisic back in a freaking heartbeat, man, if he was to play the way.
Of course
He was. That Jeffy is absolutely, and excuse my French, he's bollocks. He's absolutely, but he can't defend, he can't tackle, he can't run forward, he gets into the lot. What does he bring to the table? He's
I'll take John Flanagan back here.
I would even go as far as to say, see, the weekend, our best defender was Balogun, right? Now, Balogun's got the facial injury. He's not really match fit anymore. He's probably what you class as done, but he's got the heart of a lion, and he can play football. When it comes to common sense, he doesn't get caught out, and he does the easy ball at times or whatever else. Just unlucky he never scored the first 5 minutes. Because if I could pick any player to score against, that mob would have picked him.
Of course you would.
But you can't rely on these guys forever. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
I don't think it's harsh to say that he's a bit past it now, considering his age. He's about 36, 37, maybe 38. So, yeah, of course had that chance, but not even a minute in, about 50 seconds in, hit the bar. Very unlucky. Everyone thought it was a goal, but you're right. He does the basics right. He does the simple things right, and I think he's a leader. He's certainly a leader, and he knows what the club means to the fans as well. He is a fan now.
He used to pay to get in. See, when he left Rangers the first time, he was coming back and he was buying tickets in the main stand. He wasn't in the VIP areas. He was just buying tickets to watch us.
Aye.
I'm half expecting Asbjørn to come up here to say, have you been missold a Brazilian left back in the last 3 years? You might be entitled to compensation.
And the thing is, with the Brazil, we're talking about Jeffy, then you've got Redfan, who I would say when he's fit and he's on his game, he's not a bad player, but he's not a great player. None of these players are fitting into Scottish football, and they're no greats. None of them are make you go like that. Well, that guy's there for the future.
I think if Redvan Yilmaz was to go back to the Turkish league, if he was to go back to Fenerbahce, Galatasaray or
He'd be suited.
or something like that, he'd succeed, he'd be brilliant. He'd be an excellent player. He'd probably be a Turkish international as well, regular starter. He's a good player, but not a Scottish football player. Not for Scotland.
That's the point I'm making. But you have to by players that are adapted to the game here.
Aye, exactly.
Yep.
You're right. That's why I'm
There's
looking
one-
at the live camera coming. Sorry.
There's one for Alec there, which is a good comment, but getting Robbie Fraser, he needs a chance next season. He's still got a year left in his.
100%.
He's got a year left in his deal. He's in the building. Let's see what he's got.
100%.
I actually think that Robbie Fraser and Jeffy are the same age, I think.
Aye,
I could be wrong. Everybody
you're
thinks Jeffy's a lot older. I think they're the same age. This is a thing that we get. It happens in Scottish football when you sign foreign players, or players for different cultures or whatever. People just assume because he's Brazilian that he's a grown man and he's a fully matured player. He's the same age as Robbie Fraser, I believe. If I'm right with that, I'll take it back. But when I think of Robbie Fraser, I think of a wee boy.
Aye, I know. You think he's about 16, 17. If you're saying he is about 21, 22, maybe same age as Jeffy, then I mean.
Kinda. I think he's about the same age. I might be wrong.
Hope to be proved wrong. Hope it works out for Jeffy. Hope to be proved wrong. Maybe calling him bollocks a bit too harsh.
There's no players. There's nobody at the club I dislike. I properly have any bad feelings towards. I just want better quality of players. I want a better attitude because I feel as if these players have. I think at the weekend, now I'm a fan of Tierney, even though I did get a big rant at the start of the season when he missed against Leon. But if I never see that so-and-so again in my life, it'll be too soon. I've been a fan of Tierney, but I think he was not doing his instructions with Barry at the weekend, and I think Barry Ferguson took him up because of that. The players that are doing this, whoever they are, we don't need them at Ibrox anymore because too many managers and let's be honest, good people. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, a good guy. Too many people have been let down by players who have cheated themselves, the club, and the fans.
Aye, and well, I mean, you seen the telly as well. Certainly, he was very frustrated when he came off as well from punching the perspex. But you've seen that. Speaking of an attitude, there we had Alex Ray a few weeks ago as well coming out and saying that the players aren't listening to instructions.
So who are the players? That's what we spoke about last week.
As you're saying about attitude, so
Liam Kelly said the same thing actually in an interview.
He did, aye. That's right, just after the game. So that's when you know there's a fact, right, that the players are not doing what the instructions are. You can be the best manager in the world. If they're not doing what you tell them, all right, you could argue the best manager in the world, they would do what they're told, but the attitude that the players are always right, and when you're that's okay, the attitude if you're winning every week, but you're no.
Yeah.
And these players, whoever they are, should be identified and thrown out the club.
Well, many times have we said in the past, he needs to get him sacked because if he doesn't sack him, he's going to get him the sack, manager-wise. It happened to Beale, happened to Van Bronckhorst. Aye. Happened to Clement. You need to get rid of this guy because if you don't get rid of that guy, he's going to get you the sack.
Aye.
And it's happened to too many managers over the time.
And that's why I'm saying that about the goalkeeping situation. And I think everybody will agree when I say that Tavernier, his days of being a captain of Rangers are gone.
Well, Tav's got a testimonial lined up next year. There's a test in the background. There's a testimonial committee already in place. It's been decided what his match is going to be. There's plans in place for Tav's testimonial already. He's going to absolutely nail it.
See things like that. I just don't like. Modern football's a lot of things I don't like. Testimonials were created for players to give them a couple of quid so they can retire and have a half decent life. But the money that football players get now, and I acknowledge that some players have done it and put all their money to charity. I take my hat off to them, and they're just getting their wee bit of glory. But if somebody like Tavernier is getting a testimonial and making lots of money after the money's made with Rangers, I wouldn't be going to the game. Let's just say that.
I mean, it's someone if you're not counting what the low league trophies, he's won 3 trophies with Rangers in the 9 years that he's been at.
And in this day and age, testimonial should only be for a player that gets a really bad injury and loses his career, and you can give him something back.
I think that's fair.
We're fed up with it. Fans are getting fleeced left, right and centre for money. And if there's anybody that deserves a testimonial, it's the support for what we've endured and the loyalty for the supporters buses and everything else. Give them a free game or something. That's the testimonials I would want. I don't want to see these players getting paraded around the park like heroes. I don't think the fans want that. I don't think there's an appetite for it anymore. However, if it was a glamour game, they probably would still sell it out right enough.
Well, when Tavernier's testimonial comes about, I mean, I'm sure the support will be very mixed up. Half the support love him, half the support want his head in their plate, so be very mixed.
By the way, if it is what I've been told it is, it's not a glamour at all. It's a load of shit. So I can't tell you this moment in time where it's a breach in confidence if I do. But when I get told what it was, I was like, what? That's crap.
My foot sound like I do face so I don't even care. It just doesn't fill me with any confidence at all. It's a wee bit like the when we won the 150. Sorry, when we had the 150th anniversary of the club, Hamburg Football Club celebrated that more than our own club, right? So things that we should be celebrating, we don't want to celebrate, and things that nobody cares about, they want to push the boat out for. We had Hamburg came to Ibrox and a couple of years ago with Linfield coming in a Wednesday night or something. You're thinking, if you're going to bring Linfield to Ibrox, one of the only clubs in the world that supported us when we were on our arse, give him a Saturday in July. Do you know what I mean? The last Saturday in July or something like that, and give him a pie back. But don't
These boys are usually quite busy in July, though, Si, they know.
No, the last week in July, that's how I picked up. But aye, you know what I'm saying? Get the priorities right. That's a big thing. Start appreciating the support. Because do you know what? See if it ever happens again and Rangers go in their arse, the support will still be there.
Always will be.
But
And
they're
the thing is,
ones to
the
get
thing
it
is, they know that they'll always be there, and I think they take it for granted.
Just about to say that as well.
in the last few years, the support have been completely taken for a ride and taken for granted. And that's why the support just now, currently, are very angry at guys like Patrick Stewart.
Yep.
Comments?
Comments, aye.
See a big one out there for Alex Kelly there.
Alex, aye, he's on it tonight.
Alec,
There
you
we
should
go.
write a book. You should write a book, man.
He should just come onto the bloody show and just sit there with you, man. He's ready to go. Right, anyway, we've had to
Can you
reduce
see
our
my faces in it, man?
had to reduce our wage bill and be forced to downgrade the standard player. Also, too many players in lucrative contract handed out by Ross Wilson. Prospective buyers are chased off by their wages, and they were on. Battling the 42 grand a week. Surprised if that was true, but okay. Tavern 40. Hadji's 30. I think that was negotiated down the way. And Matondo and 30 grand a week. I think that's actually a wee bit much. So
I'll just go with one word that he's put in there. Outrageous.
It's too much. The numbers might be a bit sceptical, but it is too much in the grand scheme.
Outrageous wages. That's what I'm saying. So with that kind of wage, how could anybody get a testimonial? Do you know what I mean? There's people struggling to get to matches.
There's guys. I mean, Matondo, especially of the list, the players that he's mentioned there, the Matondo one's scandalous. For what he's done, contribution-wise, it's just been absolutely.
And that's something that we're going to have to address in the future. All right, we want quality players at the club, but at the same time, wanting quality players and spending that kind of money on dross, that's what puts you in trouble in the first place.
Yeah. No, I mean, the Butland signing it's not working out. Which I sold him last summer. It's obvious in hindsight, but he's been available, and he's it's some of the stuff's not his fault. The stuff that's going on in front of him. Tav, when you look back on it from the outlay compared to the output, argument. Hadji's always trying his best. He's always been selling his attitude at the start of the season. There's many guys that would have just thrown their toys out the pram and just down tools. And he stuck away. He was playing the B team. He done the right thing. He made the right choices.
He's a likeable guy. Aye.
He's a good professional.
Even the Tavernier one, I'll give my tuppence worth on that. I would say that pound for pound, signing him when we did and the amount of time he's been at the club, he's been a good servant to Rangers, but his time was up last season. I think he should have went with Golson went. But I would have loved nothing better in my whole life as to have seen him lifting that Europa Cup. We were minutes away from doing it. But everybody's time's up at some point.
Yeah. And as you were saying as well, we should have sold Butland last season. When we get the opportunity to sell these players for decent money, I mean, you had big money coming for a lot of Premiership clubs. Ipswich screams out to me, so you had offers of about 10, 12 million coming in from, and it's happened in the past as well, as you touched earlier on with Morelos, Kent, even Glenn Kamara, who we got only 5 million for when you look in perspective. I mean, we could have probably gotten about 10 or 15 million at least.
But we went but we can be victims of that's a dog gone nuts here. Repeating myself as well, that's the thing. We can end up repeating myself every week, but we kind of know all these things. How are we for time, guys? Because it's been a good show, but
an hour. Aye, just going on an hour, mate.
Aye, I think we've covered everything, to be fair. The support are just looking for that wee bit of oomph. Something to give them, something to make them celebrate and smile a bit.
See if even, and I know this will sound, and we've been over this, it's old rope. See if they came out this week and said that we're getting Lauren Shankman at the end of the season on a free transfer. It gives us something.
Aye.
Do you know?
I would take him on a free transfer, especially.
He
I
would
think
be
it's
free
good
anyway.
for-
He's a free. He is a free transfer.
I mean, as much as we'd have to pay some sort of compensation to Hearts, I mean, we spoke about it before as well, I think, in the channel. I think it might have been Goldie or yourself, Ryan, that was saying that after your European games on a Thursday, you want a striker who's going to score goals in the league, and that's Lawrence Shankland.
I thought his contract runs out.
He's not been at his best this
His
season.
contract's out, right? But everyone's saying he's had quite a poor season this year, right? He's been played out of position. New manager comes in Saturday, gets stuck back up front, number 9. They're playing
two.
against Ross County away, a ground that we've sometimes struggled on, particularly last season where we fluffed it and lost the league. Scores 2 and sets up 1. Done.
Aye.
Easy.
Aye, exactly.
Well,
and he was
let-
injured for a good part of the first half of the season as well.
Let me give you an example, right? Why I would say that wouldn't be a bad move. It's quite simple. Is he a better player on form? Is he a better player than Danilo? I would say aye.
Yes, 100%.
Is he more suited to Scottish football? Aye.
Yes.
So if you got him on a free, it wouldn't be the worst.
Yeah, but
Does he? The other thing as well, does he give a monkeys? Is he proud to pull on the blue jersey and walk out and simply the best is playing? Are you going to get 110% out of him every single week? 100%.
That's true.
It's no doubt in my mind. We should just go out and sign that guy, just purely to have in the squad, home grow and all that kind of rubbish and stuff like that. Sign him.
Aye, no, good point, mate.
yeah, of
But
course.
that's just an example of an announcement they could make this week.
I just think we want some good news, man. Honestly, we want some good news.
We just want exciting back at the club. We want, as you were saying before as well, we want the draw suit, and I think that's why Kevin Thelwell's such a good appointment as well, because when he went into Everton, he seemed to lower the wage bill by a good few tens of thousands as well, so, and looked like he got the draw suit, so I think that's a good appointment, but as we were talking about earlier on with Matondo and 30k a week, as much as I don't believe that to be true, surely not, but your
Got it
players
for
like
good.
Matondo,
He's got it for a
even
good
Davies-
source. He's got it for Stevie Clifford at 4 lads. Who's
No, if it is true, that's an absolute joke. But you've got your players like Ben Davies as well, who's out on loan, who looks to be gone out in a permanent as well, probably Birmingham. Kieran Dowell as well. You've got these players. You want the dross out. You want the dross out the club. You want fresh. We need a fresh start. With a fresh takeover, we need a fresh start of players, I think.
I think we're all agreed on that, to be fair, guys. But just, my own opinion is the Old Firm game I was dreading the worst. I'm saying to myself, don't tell me they're not going to turn up. This and that, and I thought Rangers should have won the game, although we fell out at the last 10 minutes. But after the game, you're thinking, right, we've got away with that one, get the season there and done with, and then the chief executive, Patrick Stewart, comes out with that ridiculous statement, sticking the boot into the fans again. And it's just a wee bit of deja vu where you're thinking, when are the club going to grow a set of balls and start backing Rangers Football Club and the Rangers support? So a bit of good news and start gaining us a bit of pride in the jersey again.
Yeah.
how good would it have been if they came out and said Rangers are assisting Police Scotland with an investigation into a hate crime which occurred on Sunday at a game. We've been given footage of a supporter in the away end committing a hate crime, and we're supporting them in their investigations. Done.
And
Everybody
they've
would be
not-
like that. Yeah,
That's
beauty.
won't happen, but unfortunately.
And unfortunately, they haven't even made any statement about that yet.
Nah,
Aye.
I've not seen it.
Everybody like, yeah, beauty. Good for you, Rangers. Well done. Hope we get the guy. Done.
All we found out is that he's lost his job, and as you said earlier on, we won't name him as much as he should probably be named and shamed for his actions, but we won't name him. But he has lost his job, and we found that out for sources.
But
Throughout his job.
the point that Ryan's making is Rangers are too busy having a go at their own support
I know that's
for
what I'm saying,
something
I know
that's not got any criminality in it.
nothing official. Like police or Rangers haven't came out, but the fans are finding this out by doing the rain digging.
Aye. So who needs friends who needs enemies if that's your friends in it?
I know. We chuck it.
Aye.
Let's get it there. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All the best, guys.
Right, all the best, and don't forget, we are the people.
We are the people.